Ciao, what's poppin' YouTube? So, I am currently reading through the Phantom of the Opera. And there was a scene in which Eric, the Phantom of the Opera himself, dresses up as the Red Death. And that reminded me of the Edgar Allan Poe story, The Masque of the Red Death. And so yeah, I went off to reread it, and I'll link it below, so let's get into it. So, the story opens in an unspecified country which is being ravaged by the Red Death.
Because the clue is in the fucking name.
Which is just like the Black Death, basically, but a lot more bloody. Basically, there is a big plague sneaking about all over the countryside, turning people into bloody geysers, and yeah. However, it's not all just doom and gloom, because the absolute party animal, Prince Prospero, is throwing a masquerade. He's a prince who loves to party, and he's invited all his rich friends over to his house to party it up while the filthy peasants die of the Red Death outside. They seal the gates and begin to rave and go on a bender to keep their minds off the Red Death. And yeah, there's a bunch of rooms, all are in different colours, with the 7th room being this horrid black room that is described as being like clotting blood. In this evil room is a big black clock that chimes on the hour, and when it does, the party stops, much to Pitbull's chagrin, and then it starts back up again a few minutes later.
Don't stop the party!
However, as the night progresses, the chimes get a bit more frequent, and nobody wants to go into the room. And then, at midnight, the spooky man in a red cloak shows up as the clock chimes. Everyone wants to jump in, and so Prince Prospero takes out his party dagger and tries to bounce this idiot out the club. But then, when he goes near it, he drops dead of the Red Death. And then everyone else dies of the Red Death as well. And that's the end. What a banger! Yeah, this is a very short one. Probably a bit overrated, but hey. So, what is the story about? Well, there isn't really a consensus on that, apparently. But to me, it is about how the elites of a society will try to seal the poor out during a crisis and party it up, but that if the issue is, catastrophic enough, all the money and revelling and big castles in the world won't save you from the plague, proverbial or otherwise. And that in the end, Red Death ends up in your masquerade, and you all die, just like the peasants. It's bleak, but simultaneously kind of uplifting in a sort of, apes strong together kind of way, saying that at the end of it all, we're all human beings, and we will all die together. Prince Prospero should have invited the plebs to his party too, but he didn't. He didn't want them around, and he wanted to pretend that they and their problems didn't exist, while he and his friends partied it up. But eventually, the peasant problems became their problems, and they thought they were above the others, but the clock struck midnight, and they all died too. And that's what I get out of this story. But you should go and read it, and tell me what you think. It's like 5 pages, and is considered a great piece of classical American fiction. So for the low price of like 10 minutes, you can appear well read, just like me. In all seriousness, it's a great little bit of fiction that is still relevant to this day. I saw people talking about the story in regards to COVID-19 quite a lot. And but there are a ton of other ways this can be applied. The economy is a great example. Like if all the poor people go bankrupt, the economy collapses because they can't prop up the elites anymore. And anyway, give it a read. And while you're at it, you should go over to my website and check out my short story, The Court of the Carrion King. Not quite as iconic as Edgar Allan Poe, but hey, it's the best I got. And yeah, like and subscribe. I promise the next video will be about an actual book and not just a short story. But I was a little pressed for time this week and still wanted to make sure that I got a video out. So, thanks squad, and I'll see you all next time.